This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We begin with firefighters still battling a brush fire along Interstate 5 near the Grapevine. The blaze has been dubbed the Shell Fire. At last update, Kern County Fire, the lead agency, said the blaze was 1,200 acres and 2% contained. Drivers through the area yesterday posted about the backup. First responders say it started when a vehicle caught on fire south of Grapevine Road and flames spread quickly to vegetation. Fire officials say dry conditions and heat are taking a toll on the crews.
That hot weather is going to make the vegetation very dry. So the humidity is going to be low, temperatures are up. So you're going to see a fire that's going to have more extreme fire behavior. And then the fire personnel, their bodies are going to have to contend with not just fighting this fire in dry conditions, not just being in around that fire, but there's no reprieve from the heat. You're fighting the fire and the temperatures outside are high as well. You're out in the sun. There's no area out in this steep terrain to really go find shade to cool off. And so it's going to be very, very tricky for these firefighters to be able to push themselves to that limit, to monitor each other safely so that they can continue to work, get the best they can out of themselves for one another, for the community, without pushing it too far.
Firefighters from Kern County Fire, CAL FIRE, the Forest Service, Ventura County Fire, and the Bureau of Land Management are currently fighting the fire. The fire no longer appears to be affecting traffic at this time. And this wasn't the only fire crews had to contend with this weekend. Saturday night, a brush fire broke out along Highway 178 at the mouth of the Kern River Canyon. Flames shut down Highway 178 for a time, but it has since opened. Luckily, firefighters have been able to get the blaze under control. They reported this morning they have full containment. The fire burned 220 acres. No word yet on what sparked the fire. And we are seeing extreme heat here in Kern County, and we're not alone. Hot, sweaty weather is blanketing much of the country and expanding on both coasts to begin this new week. In all, 55 million people are under heat warnings and advisories. NBC's Gard Venegas has more.
The scorching summer sun bringing the heat from coast to coast.
It's such a stretch of hot weather that the water is probably the best place to be.
At least 23 million in the west under heat alerts. The heat in the Pacific Northwest burning through records. In Portland, Oregon, the temperature Sunday at 112, the hottest ever recorded there, and it could reach 114 today.
It's going to be a brutal couple days.
All in a region where many are used to rainy, cooler climates and living without air conditioning. Residents have been loading up on some cold drinks, some taking refuge from the 110-plus degree heat inside cooling centers like these, even bringing their pets to recharge in the AC. At the U.S. Olympic trials in Eugene, athletes and officials trying to find a little shade before Sunday's extreme heat forced events to be postponed. Temperatures on the track topping 100 degrees.
How brutal is it in this heat to be running this pace?
In Seattle, folks flocking to the beach to try and cool down, but temps at the shore also hitting the triple digits.
It's warm like this in July, August, not in June. Usually we've got June gloom, right?
Forecasters there predicting even more sweltering conditions today. In Idaho, Ironman organizers utilizing cooling areas, misting stations, and chilling towels to keep athletes safe.
They're providing so much ice and so many things along the way to help us keep our body temperatures down.
And with dangerous drought conditions across the West, officials are on alert for wildfires. On the other side of the country, this morning, New York, Boston, and D.C. are bracing for temperatures in the 90s. As the first days of summer pack a blistering punch.
Now, with dozens of large fires blazing from New Mexico to Oregon, some cities and towns are already canceling 4th of July fireworks shows as a precaution. Now, here at home, with conditions ripe for wildfires in the 4th of July week just a week away, it is a good time to remind you that you can report illegal fireworks. Officials are expecting an increase in illegal firework use. The Kern County Fire Department has launched a new section on their website allowing the community to report illegal fireworks. The online tip form is available 24 hours a day on kerncountyfire.org. Time now 12:05, and sheriff's deputies are investigating a man's death after his body was found in the Lost Hills area. Law enforcement was called to an orchard in the area of Lerdo Highway and Lost Hills Road for someone who had been shot late yesterday afternoon. The man was found dead, and homicide detectives are investigating. And deputies are investigating another homicide, this time in East Bakersfield. KCSO says they were called to Weedpatch Highway near Highway 58 for a shooting. Deputies say they found a man with obvious signs of trauma. He died at the scene. The coroner's office will release his identity at a later time. KCSO is asking anyone with information to call 861-3110. And a devastating reminder of the dangers of kids and pools. An Oildale toddler died this weekend, and deputies suspect drowning. Deputies were called out to Harding Avenue Saturday night for a report of a little boy in a pool. Officers tried to save the child, and he was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. No arrests were made, and deputies say there was nothing suspicious. And as temperatures around the county remain sky high, many will no doubt seek relief in pools, but you can't ever be too careful when it comes to kids and water. Public health officials have these water safety tips, including ensuring children are always supervised when playing in or around water. When there are several adults present, choose one to be responsible for watching children for a certain period of time, such as 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, select another adult to be the water watcher. Empty all tubs, buckets, containers, and kiddie pools immediately after use. Install fences around home pools. A pool fence should surround all sides of the pool and be at least 4 feet tall with self-closing and self-latching gates. Also ensure kids cannot access above ground pools or spas. And last but not least, learn CPR. Performing resuscitation on a drowning victim in the time it takes for first responders to arrive could save their life. Taking a look around town now, Adventist Health is offering free immunizations for qualifying children. The hospital is hosting child immunization clinics through the month of June. Vaccines are free to children under the age of 18 who meet one of the following criteria. They have no health insurance, are enrolled in Medi-Cal, or they are American, Indian, or Native Alaskan. There is a clinic today that runs until 2 p.m. at Riverview Park. To see the full schedule of clinics, head to our website, kget.com. And if you want to make an appointment, call Adventist Health at 869-6740.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
And with the triple-digit heat here in Kern County, the Bakersfield Animal Care Center will be moving their monthly held vaccination clinics. Instead, they'll host 2 clinics come September instead of holding one in July and one in August. The Animal Care Center provides low-cost pet vaccinations, microchips, and dog licensing. Microchips are free for all currently licensed dogs and those purchasing a license as well. The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.